Okay, so we are good to go. Um, I hope the presentation is visible on your screens. All right. So I named this workshop as Back to Roots because our ancestors used to live in harmony with nature. So everything that you can find in Ayurveda is basically designed on the principles of nature. So there is nothing out of this world. Everything, everything, the science that has evolved, it's based on perception and observation and how they have clubbed all of those things together and created this wonderful, wonderful science that we have today, which enables us to align ourselves in mind, body, spirit, completely align ourselves to Mother Nature. So most of the time, what people think is Ayurveda is a form of alternative medicine. I disagree. I don't see Ayurveda as an alternative medicine. I see it more as a holistic way of living. And and the fact that most of the things, even the medicines that you have, is derived from nature, it proves that the close, tight knit, that interconnection that we have, and you're shortly going to see it in this session, um, how we are deeply connected to the panchatattvas, the elements. Okay, so with that, we're going to start this session with a short invocation. This is a universal prayer. You might have heard of this. So I want you all to just take some space for yourself. Take a deep breath because I know that it's a Sunday and we all have been busy doing stuffs. In the morning as well, we had a session with Niranjan and Sansari. It was a 3 hour long session. Uh, so I want you all to be grounded in your own presence. Take some deep breaths, close your eyes. I'll be chanting this invocation and you all can connect with it. Okay? Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This is a universal prayer, and in this prayer, we pray that all living beings, all humans, everyone, let there be, let them be healthy and let there be peace in the world. So that's what the mantra conveys. Okay. So let's move on. Now let's enter our session officially. So today I'll be taking you all to an introduction to Ayurveda, the three doshas, and how you can integrate Ayurveda in your current lifestyle. Because the text was written so many years back. The lifestyle that we are living is completely different from the lifestyle of our ancestors. So, an integration is very much necessary. We cannot go back to the villages and we cannot leave everything um, and transform our lives on in entirety to, to follow the Ayurvedic principles. So there has to be a balance between our modern lifestyles and the Ayurvedic principles, and this is what we are going to do in the third module. And finally, I'll be taking the Q&A. Okay. Um, Sorry, I request you all to mute your mics. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's get started. What is Ayurveda? So Ayurveda is called as the mother of all healing. It was formed. It actually in our ancestors used to pass the knowledge through the word of mouth. So they did not have any script written or text written. And it was until like 5,000 years ago when it was formed into a proper text. So that it's even older than 5,000 years old. It's something that existed with at the time when mankind was there, at the time when we had our Indian civilization. So yeah, it is much more than an alternative medicine. So it's a holistic science, and we have so many sister sciences along with Ayurveda. So to name a few, the number one is your yoga. So yoga and Ayurveda are very deeply connected. Then comes your astrology, Jyotish, and Ayurveda, and Vastu. So these are other esoteric sciences, and all of them are some way or the other, they have this intersection between each of these different principles. Let's talk about the real, true essence of Ayurveda. Ayurveda is a Sanskrit term, and it is made up of two words. The first is Ayur, which means life, and Veda is science or knowledge. Ayurveda translates to the knowledge of life. So everything that you need to know about how your body functions, your constitution, and if anything is not working in a proper way, what are the factors that can influence the proper functioning of a body? So everything can be found in the science of Ayurveda. And as I mentioned earlier, it is very holistic in nature. It takes into consideration not just your body, also your mind and your spirit. So I like to clarify that part because we mostly think that Ayurveda is a physical science. It's something that is an alternative medicine. But Ayurveda also takes care of the mind in the sense that there are certain practices in Ayurveda that we can adapt in our day-to-day lives to prevent mental health conditions, to prevent anxiety and depression. So everything is outlined in the Dinacharya, that is the way of life, as well as self-care principles in Ayurveda, which tells us how we can take care of our mind. Along with that, when I say spirit, I mean our soul, the essence of us that is connected to God, to source, to universe. And Ayurveda also has a branch which is more focused on the internal cleansing as well as energetic cleansing. By energetic cleansing, I mean that whenever there is any physical blockage, it also over time creates an energetic blockage. So in Ayurveda, there are certain practices something I can give an example is the Panch Karma, uh, or uh, or there are these detox. That's the right word. Okay. So there are detox principles in Ayurveda. And using that, people prepare their bodies to do yoga, to do these sadhanas, to do spiritual practices in order to ascend on their spiritual path. So, considering all of that, now we are clear that Ayurveda is a holistic form of health practices. And in Ayurveda, we have a lot of branches. So the diet, lifestyle, herbs, and even yoga also comes under Ayurveda to some extent. Next, we have the Panch Tattvas, fire, water, air, earth, and space. Space or ether or Akash Tattva. So I want you to take a moment and just look within yourself. Where can you find the fire tattva, Agni tattva in your body? Um, you can type in the chat box. Like any idea, like where can you find that fire in your body? Yeah, so Lagna says stomach. Yes. So the digestive fire, that is the Agni tattva. Okay. Next we come to water. Water is in plenty, right? Okay. So where can you find water? We say that a body has like 70%. It's comprised of water. So yeah, almost the entire body, lymphatic, uh, lymph, then blood. It's yeah, it's almost a lot of our body is water. Air, the breath. Our breath is air, and the organs associated with air are nose and our lungs. So that are directly associated with air. Obviously, that entirety, the mechanism operates on a very deeper level. But what we can perceive and what we can feel is our nose and our lungs. The earth element, where can you find that earth element? People used to say, in Bollywood movies, I heard like, "Shari, mitti ka sharir." They say that. So the earth element is also present in our bodies, and it comprises our basic like, structure of our body, right? And the next tattva is space element. So what we usually do not get to feel is the space. The Can you tell me where is the space present in your body? Any guesses? You don't have to be right. Any guesses? Paramjit
Somewhere
says,
in our cells, mitochondria या न्यूक्लियस में कहीं.
yeah, but like anything that we can perceive that we use on everyday basis.
Brain, somewhere in the brain. Buddhi. It's a wild guess.
Yeah. Okay. So the perceived example, which is right in front of us, I'll be taking that. Our vocal cords. If there were not any space, how would I even speak to you? Right? So the vocal cords take the air, and there's a space between the vocal cords. And there are many, many cavities between the bones, the pelvic bone, in our bodies. And there is nothing, absolutely nothing. It's just plain space. So we are comprised of all of these elements, all of these panch tattvas. Okay? So now that we know, now that we are aware of like where are these elements located in our body, let's move on to the next part. The three doshas. That's what many people came for, and this was a much in demand topic. So in Ayurveda, we have these basic types of energy that we call as the three doshas: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So the five panch tattvas that you just saw, these doshas are made up of these panch tattvas. So we combine these panch tattvas, and from there we get these qualities that are more like an energetic force. Okay? In every person, each and every person has all these three doshas present. All what with kapha, everyone is going to have it, but the ratio is different, which is why every individual is unique. So this also determines your personal characteristic, your overall personality, your body type, your emotions, the way you express yourself. So all these three doshas interact with one another. One is very much expressed, that forms your, that is your prakriti, that is your primary dosha. The second is the Vikriti, the secondary dosha that also influences your life, your entire being, but it influences from not always. So that is less dominant. And the least dominant will be the third one. And depending on the ratio of these three doshas, you'll have you'll get to see, experience that uniqueness, that distinction of yourself from other people. Okay, so Vata is made of the space element and air. Vata is basically very fluid, it governs movement, and it is the promoter of creativity and flexibility. However, there are times when Vata goes off balance, and there are many reasons why it goes off balance. Mostly, it's the first reason is your lifestyle, and second is any kind of an external influence, as in any kind of a disease or any discomfort in the body that is occurring on an internal level can throw these doshas off balance. So in that case, Vata produces fear and anxiety, and we get to understand the out of balance aspect by taking into consideration the emotion that is occurring. So Ayurveda also encourages us to become very self-aware. Like what is happening inside of you, how you are feeling, that is going to tell you on a very subtle level, like what is going wrong, what is off balance, so that you can heal yourself, so that you can take necessary steps to get into balance. The next is your pitta, that is the fire plus water that governs your body's metabolic system. And Pitta is fire dominant, and and it also affects your body's temperature. So there are many people who are Pitta dominant, and you'll see that their hands are, they have very warm temperature, specifically the palms of the hand, because I'm a Pitta type, and the palms of the hands are most of the time they will be warm. And Pitta people have a very sharp intellect. They get things done quick, and and they have, due to this intellect, they are very excellent at their work. But there's again the other side. When it goes off balance, it produces anger. There's this bad temper, then hatred and jealousy. So these are the things that we need to take care of. Whenever, if you can find out your Ayurvedic dosha, first thing is to check that how balanced it is. So maintaining the balance is the very key to leading, a holistic life. So the next is Kapha, which is water plus earth. Kapha is your body structure, bones, muscles, tendons. Now, I'd like to ask you that how does water plus earth feel? Like it's cold in nature, right? It's cold and it's sticky. So that's the nature of kapha. Whereas vata is predominant, it's dry. So people who have vata imbalance also go through phases of dry skin. Sometimes it happens in winters. You can see that there are people who complain. Right? There are many people who complain of dry skin. But why does that happen? Because the weather itself is creating the dryness as well as aggravating the internal vata. So at that time, the dryness of the skin, it comes upon the physical layer as well, and that needs to be taken care of. Similarly, kapha is your lubrication of joints, your moisturizes the skin, your immunity. As I said, the lymphatic system of your body, that is your kapha. So when kapha is in balance, things are okay. Kapha, when it goes like aggravates or it is present in a very less quantity, people face this issue of um, joint uh, joint aches specifically, where the lubrication of joints start lessening. It happens because the Vata and Kapha are in play, where the Vata is taking over, creating the dryness, and the Kapha is not able to handle it in that moment. So that's how we basically deal with the physical issues in the body. And okay, talking about how Kapha individuals are, they are very lovely, calm, forgiving. They do their work in their own pace, and they're very peaceful people. Like like I know a few Kapha people. They're like a living teddy bear kind of thing. So that's about when kapha is in balance. However, when kapha goes out of balance, it leads to these people, these very loving people, they become very clingy. They have attachment issues. There is greed and envy. So, so that's the thing that when it is in balance, one perspective, and when it gets out of balance, these are the things that become become dominant. Now, this is a very important part that I'm going to cover. So, your day, your day can be classified into different timings. There are kapha timings, pitta timings, and vata timings. Okay? So, the kapha timing begins from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Have you ever observed yourself when you wake up in this zone, specifically close to 10 a.m.? If you wake up on a day that late, then you'll observe that you feel so sluggish. You don't have the energy to get started with your day. So, has anyone observed that? Please type in the comment box. If you wake up late, there is this feeling that you have this heaviness that gets created within you. That, oh my God, okay, I got to start the day, but I don't feel like I have the energy to start the day because that feels so heavy. That is your kapha into play, which is why it is advised to wake up early so that the sluggishness is not there. Then also nighttime is 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Right now, it's a kapha time. So that's why I wanted to start with an invocation, like ground yourself and relax, because I'm going to take you all through everything. All you have to do is just listen and be attentive. So what should you do ideally in a kapha timing is, because this is there is a heaviness, right? In the morning specifically, if you wake up during kapha timing, what I feel is what I say, do not rush into the work because it takes time for that heaviness to settle. So, what you can do is, so one of my teachers taught me that if you wake up during that timing, especially late, the quickest way to get that kapha energy flowing is do a quick joint warm up, like each and every joint of your body, starting with your feet, your knees, your waist, your the back. So a joint warm up solves this issue, and slowly and steadily you can start your day and maintain that productivity as well. If the timings are 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., 10 p.m. to 2 p.m. Now, during these timings, we have the scope of maximum productivity because when the pitta energy is there, we can harness that fire energy and get things done. So, if you want to have your deep work, uh, your deep work slots, you can schedule them in these like in this particular phase, because that will support it. Like the nature will support your ability to focus and to work. Also, when you see that 10 p.m. to 2 p.m. is also Pitta time, have you observed this? That there are people who say that they are night owls and they can get a lot of things done at night. This is because Pitta energy, the timings are the same, but the purpose is different. In the day, it is to do your work. At night, the Pitta energy serves to detox. So that Pitta energy that you have, the night time slot, it's not exactly to do your work. That is the body's time to detox itself. That is the body's time to, after you have had your meals, after you have like you're done with work, it's time to rest. It's time for your body to rest so that the pitta can kick in, and that fire, that tattva now acts in a different way. It cleanses your entire system. So a body has a natural mechanism of cleansing. However, in our modern times, we do not respect that. So if we can align ourselves to, you know, at least a majority of a week, if we can schedule it in a way that we respect all these timings, our productivity will naturally improve. Now, the third one is the Vata timings. The Vata timings are 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now, the morning Vata timings are the best for spiritual practices, which is why all the saints and sages, have you heard of Brahma Muhurta? So they wake up in the Brahma Muhurta because the Vata supports the spiritual development, because it connects with the ether and air. And these tattvas are, they support this spiritual work, the meditation, and uh, I hope I'm audible. Okay. So it supports meditation, spiritual practices. That's the ideal timing. And the vata that takes place in the afternoon, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., that supports your creativity. So if you have to do any kind of a creative work, try to schedule it during that time, because that will be naturally supportive. Your body will naturally support that work. And Vata is creative inspiration. So why not make use of it, right? Okay. Now comes the lifestyle. So there are certain guidelines that are laid down in Ayurveda that helps us live in sync with nature. And another thing that I'd like to point out, Ayurveda believes in prevention. Our ancestors believed prevention is better than cure. And the same principles are written down in Ayurveda. Although we do have Ayurvedic medicines, but these basic practices where there is no interference of herbs and medicines externally, you can use these lifestyle practices to, to prevent anything from happening. So Dinacharya is basically your self-care routines, and this can form a solid foundation for your good health. Another thing is that if you do something once in a while, it's not going to give you lasting results. In order to get those lasting results, you have to engage in repetition. And when you repeat, you become better and better, and the results are, the body knows that there is consistency. The body responds to that. So that's why. And another point is that you want to live in harmony with your unique constitution and nature. So, determining your unique constitution, what are your Ayurvedic doshas, and uh, which one is aggravated, which one do you need to focus on more? That's very important. So, I'll be dropping in a few questionnaires from some of the prominent Ayurvedic teachers. They have their own websites, and I'll be dropping in some questionnaires so that you can determine your unique constitution and then take care of yourself. So in Dinacharya, some of the things that I have found for my that works for myself and that is extremely important is the sleep and wake up timings. I know that we have work, and sometimes our schedules can be so off the roof. We don't know what is going to come and what work will take us a longer time. So, in that case, when you do not have control of your own sleep and wake up timings, but your work is determining that, what should you do in that case? So, in my opinion, the first thing that you can do is prepare your own self care routines. If you're not able to fix your sleep and wake up timings, try your best to maintain it throughout the week, as many days as possible, when the work is not not influencing your timings. Number two, your breath is a cleanser. Your breath is extremely important. So uh, so there are times when you can go for mindful breathing. So mindfulness and mindful breathing is a very good practice because just a second, I think there's something off with the slides. Okay. So I said your breath is a cleanser, and there are many different types of breathing as well. Some of the safer ones, which I have noticed and which can be done by anyone, there is the square breathing, which is 4 4 4 4. 4 counts inhale, 4 counts hold, 4 counts exhale, 4 counts hold. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, emotionally overwhelmed, or there is any kind of, fear or any uncomfortable emotion, you'll see that the first thing that gets affected is your breath in case of a difficult emotion. So you cannot address the emotion intellectually. You use your breath to address the emotion physically so that overall you can become calmer in the present moment, and then use your intellect to make a decision or do something. So what I say is use your body to handle your emotions, because emotions are always going to be there. And and the thing is that we are getting information at such a fast rate from everywhere. It's like bombarding from everywhere. So what is going to trigger what kind of a feeling, what kind of an emotion, we don't know. And sometimes it's useless, it's meaningless, but we get affected by that. So in that case, have some tools in your toolkit. You create your own self-care toolkit that you know that these are the things that I can do, I can incorporate, that will help me live in a very balanced way. Number three, detox rituals. Detox rituals are so important because especially food nowadays, we if you are in 9 to 5 job, we go out and we eat, and we need to have something that can help us in the deep cleansing internally. Something that my nutritionist had suggested me was a CCFT, that is coriander, cumin, and fennel, that is soft. So she told me that you mix 1 teaspoon of all the three spices in water and boil it. And after your dinner, after 1.5 hours of dinner, you have a cup of it. And that immensely helped me. So I included that. I experimented with things, always taking safety into consideration. I experimented with things and I saw that, okay, this works for me. And I did it for a very long time, for 3 months continuously. And I saw that there was so much improvement in my overall health. Another detox ritual uh, that is very helpful to cleanse your digestive system, that is the oil pulling. So when you determine your Ayurvedic dosha, if you are of a Pitta type, if you have a lot of fire, what you can do is use a cooling oil. So in Ayurveda, we meet the things with opposite qualities. So if there is a lot of fire, we will add some cooling agent, right, in order to get a balance. So if you have a lot of acidity, a lot of fire within, then you can use coconut oil for oil pulling. Alternatively, if you are someone who is struggling with, sluggishness and a lot of vata, then you can use sesame oil. So these are some of the self-care things. Of course, movement is extremely important in your everyday life. Any kind of movement, let it be a joint warm up, a stretching, a cardio, any kind of an exercise or yoga, include movement in your everyday life. And the final principle, meeting the mood. I think this is the most important thing that I learned in Ayurveda is do not force yourself to act in a certain way or be something. If you wake up one day and you feel like your body needs rest and you feel that I, okay, I do have a huge to do list, but I don't know if I'll be able to do all of those things. Meeting the mood means that, okay, accepting your current state. So if you're feeling a certain way, do not fight it. Just accept that, okay, this is it. This is the thing that I'm going through. And this is how I'm feeling right now. How am I going to plan my day? How can I change the things? How can I alter my to-do list in a way that it can meet me to the way that I feel right in that how my body feels, how my mind feels. So in the age of productivity, in the age of having so many goals, it's also important to take care of yourself. So always remember that if you face any kind of an issue and then you're like, but I have so many things, just meet the mood. Just look at yourself, see how you're feeling, and when you take so what happens eventually when you focus more on self-care at the start of the day itself, eventually the curve will rise. This is what happens. You start feeling better and you're like, okay, I can check two, three more things off my list. So that eventually happens. But the first thing is acceptance. So practice that acceptance, give yourself some love, and then you have a healthy life. Okay, so I'm done. I had a lot to talk about. Now it's your turn.